What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Philly Frenzy podcast. Today, we are actually going to be using webcams. We have a special guest with us in Toxsik, and King Tay, and my buddy Rob is here as always. What's going on, Toxsik?
How's it going, man? I appreciate you guys having me on. Looking forward to the conversation.
Tay, usually when you come on, Tay, we usually let you start it off and attack anything you want to attack. So we're going to do the same thing as always. So go ahead and have some fun with Toxsik.
All right, man. We'll do, man. First off, Toxsik, how's it going, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Good, man. It's an honor to have you on the show, bro. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited, man. I honestly had, so many questions. I feel like it would have lasted, 3-4 hours. So I had to cut everything out. I said, man, I can't hold them that long. So I got a few questions for you, man. I won't be before you too long. But I like to start in the beginning, man. As far as your beginnings, Toxsik, humble beginnings, you have a long resume. But as far as your beginnings, man, where did 2K actually start for you? And when did you think, or when did you know it would become big or that it could be something big for you?
Yeah, I grew up a sports guy. I grew up playing sports my whole life. Played high school basketball, went off and played college basketball for a couple of years. And, I always played, whether it was Madden or 2K, with, the neighborhood friends or high school teammates, college teammates. So I always played it. I really started to dive into 2K in about 2K15. That's when I got introduced to the park scene. And for the next 2-3 years through, 2K15, 16, 17, I was just straight park. I played a ton of park, loved it. I honestly fell in love with the grind. It honestly reminded me of my Halo 2 days of grinding a rank. And so I fell in love with that. Got into the content scene, the streaming scene. Really had no focus with Pro-Am or the 2K League. I didn't even know any of that side. So got involved, with streaming, and then heard about the 2K League. And at first, I'll be honest with you guys, I was like, there's just no way. There's a 2K league with the NBA involved. That's unheard of when it came to video games. You never heard of something like that. So I was like, hey, I'm not going to go for that. I'm just going to stream and play ball. And I got everything figured out. Ended up going for it. Got lucky. There were 72,000 people who tried out in season 1. And I was one of the 102 first players to ever be chosen. And was picked for, Cavs Legion. I ended up moving to Cleveland for 6 months. And to answer your question about when did I know it could become a career? Honestly, man, that draft day, when draft day came along, I had family and friends all over my house. I probably had 10 friends and 10 family members, and we're all sitting in my living room watching on the TV. And, my name gets called, and you're like, damn, I'm really going to Cleveland, to go play a 2K. I'm from South Florida. So to go to Cleveland, you just don't, or anywhere, you just unheard of. So it was an amazing moment. Honestly, I flew my family out to Cleveland with me, and once that first check hit from the NBA to play 2K, I was like, damn, man, I guess this is the real deal. So that's when it really hit me, and I realized man, I can really go far with this thing.
I can't imagine the surreal feeling of getting your name called to get drafted to 2K League, man. I know that's one of a kind feeling, bro. But as far as eyeball, right? As far as eyeball empire, when did that start, man? How did that all come together?
Yeah, so the biggest thing was, like I said, I got involved in 2K around 2K15, 2K16. In those times, the park community was huge. If you were back, around in those days, guys like Nadex and guys like Annoying, who are now huge content creators within the 2K community, they always had clans. They always had park clans, and that was always something I watched and I really liked. I got involved with 2K17 and playing park a lot, and I always wanted to have people to play with. Every time I got on, I had to find a team. I didn't have people to play with, so I was like, you know what? Why don't I just start my own group? Why don't I start my own little clan? So I did that with a couple of my friends. We sat there for a couple of days and thought of a name, and Eyeball was one of the names that came out. I thought it looked cool. I thought it had a nice little ring to it, and we ran with that. And at first, like I said, it was just a park clan. We only had park players. We had no, guys didn't stream. We didn't have any Pro-Am guys, none of that. And throughout the years, I've just seen the opportunity that I have with it, and being able to grow a brand with other people and make it something even bigger. You think of things like FaZe and Optic Gaming and 100 Thieves and all these huge, brands in the esports world. And you see what they're able to do. And I kind of thought to myself, 2K doesn't have that. Why can't I be the the staple of that. Why can't I be someone to try to do that? And like I said, from years going, we just established new things, brought in new people, set new goals, raised the standards on, having guys that are not only great players, but content creators and things of that. And, it's been a wild ride ever since, and, we're going to continue to try to do great things with it.
Interesting about that, man. Not too long ago, one of our past broadcasts, we was talking about eyeball, and we were saying how it's really an organization, a real empire. It's not just a clan. We really don't consider it a clan at this point, just because of how big it done got. What do you think that you did differently, specifically, than maybe other clans that was created back then or anything? What do you think you specifically did different that really made it blow up the way that it did?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think over the years, I just, trial and error was big. Like, kind of knowing, I'll tell people all the time, like the number one thing that's important when it's doing something like this and you want to be successful in it, and you guys can probably attest to this from doing other things you guys have done in life, like you got to get the right people around you. You got to have the right core around you. And like, for me, it took a lot of time to find that core. And once I did, I treated everything just differently, like on a whole new level. I raised the bar, and I just told everyone, like, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this 110%. I'm a perfectionist in anything I do. So from content on our social medias to how we perceive ourselves in social media, on the game, off the game, everything we do, I was going to do it to perfection. And so getting the right people around me, honestly, shout out to our graphics team and everyone over there, because without them, like, they're what makes everything come to life. They create everything that you guys see on social media that makes you guys say, wow, like this is really nice. They're professional, they're organized. And so they do a great job. And, without them, probably wouldn't be as successful as we are now. So, to shorten the answer to the question, just getting the right people around me, and continuing to just evolve in certain areas and get the right people and do things that other clans weren't doing, and just, set the standard.
Man, gotcha, man. So let's fast forward a bit, man. Let's fast forward to the 2K League, right? You were drafted by Cavs Legion, season 1. Know that was definitely a big deal for you, man. As far as your experience, your personal experience when it comes to the 2K League, man, what did it teach you? How did that season go? Did some unexpected things come up? Give us a journey down that season 1, man.
Yeah, it was so many experiences, to be honest. I was one of the luckier guys, I feel like, though, coming into the 2K League. I think I had a little bit of expectations on what I thought was going to go on. Coming from a professional esports background already, playing Halo, I had been in live tournaments. I had flown around the country and played in front of people. So I knew that environment. I was ready for that environment. So that was one thing that didn't hit me by surprise that I think it did for a lot of other guys. But, look, being a South Florida kid, flying to Cleveland, that was one thing right there. Like, that was a culture shock altogether. I had never seen snow. I flew to Cleveland. It was the first time I'd seen snow. So that was one big thing. But other than that, like, from the gaming side, look, you're 6 guys that don't know each other. You've never met each other in real life, and you're all being asked to fly to a brand new city and live with each other. So you can imagine right there the test and the trials and tribulations you go through as a team, being with each other for 6 months, not knowing each other, living with each other. There's a lot of things you got to go with, deal with with that. But it was a great season, man. We had a great draft, honestly. I still tell people to this day, like, in my opinion, I'm probably a little biased. I think that was one of the best drafted teams ever. And if you go back and look at the track record, we had a guy like Hood in season 1 who was honestly an MVP caliber player. Season 1, he was on ESPN being compared to LeBron James. Like, it was crazy, like the type of attention and hype he was getting. And then to mention a guy like Sick at center, just one of the best centers in the world. You saw what he did last year with the Raptors. I mean, a 16-0 season had never been done before. Won two tournaments. Just another super successful guy. Then we had a guy turn up defense, went to Minnesota and won a championship. And then obviously you add me to the roster, and then we had God at 2K who won Defensive Player of the Year in season 2 or 3, one of them. So I mean, it just shows you like the talent that was on that roster. And it was great. I think we finished 8-6 in the regular season. We made 3 semifinals out of 4 major tournaments in the 2K League. Unfortunately, we got knocked out in the playoffs in the semifinals. We made the Final Four. We actually won game 1 against the Knicks and then we were up game 2 by 13 in the third quarter to close out and go to the 2K League finals. So I mean, if you ask me, we should have been in the finals. I mean, we all talk about it to this day, like that's one that haunts us, you know. So great experience. It taught me so much. You know, it helped me grow as a person, as a player, everything. It was awesome from the experiences in Cleveland to flying to New York to playing on stage to everything it had to offer was awesome. And honestly, like without it, I wouldn't be able to be who I am right now and the player I am, you know, going into season 4.
Definitely, man. So as far as your longevity, right? What's your advice? I would say to up and comers that wants to get into pro-am, maybe just now starting out, but also even for guys who have been in it for a while, like because correct me if I'm wrong, man. I think you were picked up by the Magic in season 2. Am I right?
Yeah. So the way it worked out, I was actually drafted by the Grizzlies in season 2, and then I played for them for about 5 or 6 games, and honestly, like it just wasn't a great fit for me. I wasn't happy, and I think in order to be successful, you got to be happy where you're at. So like I requested a trade, and then I was traded to Orlando mid-season, and I finished off season 2 with Orlando, and then was retained, and then played a full season 3 with the Magic.
Been in every season of the NBA 2K League so far. So, man, what do you think you did as far as longevity, man, to stick around? Obviously, your play was good. Your play was up to par. But is there any other aspects that you think kept you around this long in the league?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, man, listen, I'm not the best player in the 2K League. I'm not the number 1 lockdown. I'm not the flashiest pick, you know what I mean? But there's so much more that comes to it. I mean, marketability is one thing. Just being a good dude, being genuine, being a person that people want to be around, you know, like that's one of the most important things right there. And you know, I tell guys like that, and I give advice to anyone watching or anyone who hears this, like if you're a player that's coming into the 2K League and you want to, and if you're not a star, if you know you're not a star player and you want to have a long career in the 2K League, you know, accept your role, understand what your role is, and be at the best at your role. Every team needs good role players. It doesn't. No good team that wins a championship has bad role players. You have to have good role players, and if that's what you are, accept that and be the best at it. Other than that, yeah, like marketability is important. I told myself going into 2K League that I was just going to be me, and I was going to be a good person. I was going to be a person that people want to be around. I was going to be professional. I was going to treat this as a job, not as me playing a video game. And that energy and that professionalism and maturity rubs off. And, you know, higher up people in these organizations, they see that and they recognize that and they appreciate that type of stuff. And it honestly, it goes a long way, man. I think if I didn't do that type of things, I probably would have been out of this league a long time ago. So for any newcomers, you know, that are trying to go for it, just understand like it is a video game. Obviously being good at the video game is number one. It is important, but at the same time, like work on other things outside of just being a player, because you know, once you're not going to be good forever. So, you know, it's good to fall back and have other, you know, traits that you can bring to an organization and a team.
If you could pick one thing, man, what would you think is the biggest difference between season 1 Toxic and season 3/season 4 Toxic?
I mean, one thing I could say is like confidence. Confidence is definitely a big thing. I came into the season 1 as a pure sharpshooter actually, and honestly didn't have the greatest, you know, statistical season. And for me, I made a drastic change and went to lockdown. I had never played it before. I wanted more responsibility as a role. I wanted to play a position that I felt like I could have an impact on the game. So I switched to lockdown and, you know, I've been successful with it ever since. But, you know, confidence and just maturity all around. You know, going into these games and these seasons and these, you know, with these teams, just being a confident player and a confident person, it rubs off on not only yourself, but the people around you. And it can help your team be successful. So, you know, I might have not been my full self season 1 because I was still trying to like get my feet underneath me and understand the league and understand like, you know, I wanted to play so good in season 1. I wanted to show out for everyone and be this like star player, when now I'm more of a guy who I know what I am. I know my capabilities. I know what I'm good at. I know what I bring to a team, and I don't care about the flashy plays anymore. As long as I'm helping my team get a win, that's all that matters to me. So
that's a great attitude that you have, man. So let's go ahead and go into this clash of clans that just went down not too long ago, man. Was this past weekend?
Yep.
Am I right? Yeah, okay. Clash of Clans, man. I actually watched that myself. I hopped in the party with these guys. We watched it, man. Crazy tournament. It looked like it had a great. I seen a timeline on Twitter going crazy about this Clash of Clans. 4L1, am I correct? $1,400.
Yep.
So big money on the line, man. There's some big games. Can we expect more of these tournaments?
Yeah, listen, I love doing tournaments. I think you notice like it brings the community together. Like as you said, like you saw the timeline, like on certain nights of the tournament, everyone's watching, everyone's excited for it. I love doing them. I've been doing them for years. So definitely, I'm always going to be trying to do things to spice up the community and keep it interesting. As long as I have time to do it. Obviously, the season's coming up, and we'll see where if or where I end up going drafted. And whenever I have time, I'm always going to be thinking of something to make the community, exciting and having fun.
Man, well, listen, man, I really appreciate your time talking to me, and I'll be on the lookout for you, man. I can't wait to see you get drafted, where you go, and I will be watching you play throughout the season, man. So take it away, Matt. I'm done here.
All right, Rob, I know you got a few questions about Halo, so I'm gonna let you go over and talk about Halo and 2K, and then I'll end up finishing up with Toxsik.
So, Tox, my biggest takeaway is, so obviously 2K is not your first experience as a professional gamer. It wasn't necessarily called that back in the Halo days. You were just a comp player, but
yeah,
it was professional. You were doing tournaments and stuff. What parts of is there parts of your mentality and like the grind from that you think helped you achieve becoming a pro 2K player and being retained and in the league all 3 years? Like what parts of that did you take with you to 2K?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things was like once I got into the competitive scene of Halo, like it's a whole different grind. You know what I mean? Like just the way you approach the game, the way you play the game, like it's not just okay, I'm getting on Halo to play casual Halo. Like I was getting on Halo every day to win every damn game I played. You know what I mean? Like if I was playing, like I took everything from Halo, like strategically, like in wins and losses, everything in Halo was like down to a science, to the point where like I became addicted to like how good I could become, And I think at a young age, like getting that involved into a game, I mean, and seeing like the professional side of it, because like you said back then, like this wasn't even like no one knew like professional gaming. It wasn't even like a thing. Like no one even thought you could do it. So like once I got involved with that there, I just think I learned like the work ethic. I learned like what it takes to be a professional, how to be a professional in a game. And, I think once I got over to the 2K side, I started off 2K the same way I started off Halo, a casual player, just someone who enjoyed the game. But I'm super, I have competitive DNA. So like I got into the competitive side and I took that same work ethic and that same mindset I had in Halo and I just established it to 2K and, just learned the ins and outs and grinded every little thing with 2K until I felt like, okay, like I can compete with these guys. I can be one of the best players, in this game.
Absolutely, man. I think it's got to be a whole different level of competition once you get to that pro level, or even deciding that you want to go there and even just getting your feet wet in it. Just the bottom of those pro ranks is leaps and bounds above the top of the casual ranks. It's such a difference. Something outside of that, just you as a person, what do you think are there traits of that have led you to be, a top guy in this community? Clearly Eyeball is a humongous organization. You guys are putting on for the community. So what do you think from just your personal self has led to that success?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just like the determination. Like, I think anything I do, like I want to be good at what I do, and like whether that's streaming, whether that's beating my brother in a video game, like I just want to be good at everything I do. Like I hate losing, I hate being mediocre, I hate being average. Like it's just something I don't want that around me, and it's just I seem to apply that in everything I do. Like for example, outside the game, whether it's like going to the gym. Like I started going to the gym at a certain age. within weeks, I was like, okay, I'm addicted. Like I had to become the strongest guy. I had to be on the best diet. I had to be the one friend that was like pushing my friends to go to the gym with me. You know, like same thing with like playing basketball. Like I was the kid that was like going to the gym at 5 a.m. to get shots up. I was a kid that was texting my coaches and trying to learn different things and watching film and all these other things. Like it's just something in my blood. It's just in my DNA that like I gotta be. I can't like watch other people do things that I feel like I can do even better. So like same thing with Halo, same thing with 2K. I just took that mindset and I established it to 2K. I did it with my play. I did it with eyeball. I did it with my content. I did it with my everything, you know. And I try to give that same feel to people around me. You know, we have tons of guys in eyeball who are great players that don't do content. I mean, some guys that you might be familiar with if you watch Pro-Am, like huge personality guys like One Wild Walnut, Mom That Man, Ramo, Dave Fry. You see all these guys that, I mean, you're talking about huge personalities that really haven't even tapped into the content side of like what they can really do. I mean, you're seeing guys like Goofy and Dave Fry were starting to do that and they're being successful in it. But I mean, my goal, like now as a leader and as someone who's older now and who's been more successful in this community, is pushing that mindset to them and getting them to realize it and getting them to become successful in it. And then at the end of the day, it helps our brand grow, it helps their brand grow, and it helps the community as a whole grow. So I mean, you know, that's kind of where I'm at now, mentally. I'm 29, man. I'm going on 30, so I guess I'm one of the older guys in this community. So I'm more on like the wisdom side now, whereas I used to be a young Halo kid who thought I was the best player in the world and no one could tell me anything different. So like, you know, I've established into that older, wiser role now.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm getting up there too. I turn 30 shortly, so you gotta try and use the knowledge you've gained over 30 years to help people out. That leadership mentality is absolutely killer, man, and it comes out of you even in an interview like this. You could tell that you're a dominant leading personality and you want to help people. So I mean, I've got, you know, my stuff out of the way, Matt. You're gonna clean up here with the rest of the harder hitting questions, so I'll let you get into it.
All right, Toxic. Who are you off the game? Like, what is your night consist of when you're not playing a video game?
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that, you know, like we'll leave off. You know, we're all men here. We all have a good time. You know what I'm saying? So like, you guys already know on that side. But
yeah,
other than that, like, I'm just like I'm a humble dude. Like, you know, family and friends are super important to me. I'm just a guy who I like being around the people that I love, man. I like being around and having a good time with the people I love, and I love playing sports. Grew up playing sports my whole life. You know, I'm like I said, I'm 29, going on 30 in December. So, you know, I'm always working, man. I'm always thinking. I'm always doing something. But I'm a family guy. I'm a friend guy first. I'm a guy who's there. I'm genuine. Even if you don't know me, man. Like if you reach out to me, you'll notice like some people will think like, oh, he's done this and he's done that and he's so successful, and it's like, I don't care about none of that stuff, bro. Like it's great and all, and like I'm proud of myself, but I'm a guy who just wants everyone around him to do well and be successful, and I want to see people do well and be successful in what they do. So, you know, I'm just a humble guy, a genuine dude who just enjoys life.
All right, so Orlando food or Cleveland food?
Cleveland for sure. I'm a Florida guy, so like I'm used to the Florida food. So like Cleveland had more, what's the right word? Like they had a lot of stuff that you can only get in Cleveland that I was like, damn, I never had this in Florida. This shit's good. I like this. What is this? I've never had this before. So like it's more authentic in Cleveland. So I would definitely go with the Cleveland food.
All right. If you could go pro in one sport, what would you have chosen?
Whew. I mean, I feel like the cop-out answer is basketball, but it's like I would say football. Like as much as I love basketball, I played college basketball, I played 2K. Like I'm a die-hard college football fan. Like I am like, since I was little, my dad, you know, I tell my friends all the time, like, as you see behind me, like I'm a big Florida State guy. Like my whole family went there, and like I didn't choose this life. I didn't choose to be a fan. It chose me. My dad went there, my mom went there, my uncles went there, my cousins went there. So it's like I was born into that life. So football for me is like a huge thing. So I would love to, you know, play professional football.
What is one goal for yourself?
Yeah, a big one for me would be like to be able to give back to my close ones, my family, like especially like my mom and dad who have done so much for me and been supportive, of my goals and my dreams, even at a young age. I mean, my mom flew me to Chicago when I was 14 years old by myself to go play in a Halo tournament. You know what I mean? Not many parents would do that. I cried my eyes out to get on a damn plane to go play in my first MLG tournament at the age of 14 years old. And if I didn't do that, who knows if I'd be doing this, So like to be able to give back to them for, everything they've done for me would be like a priceless goal.
What is the biggest goal? Like, what is your mindset when it comes to eyeball? Like, what do you want to achieve?
Yeah, I think the obvious answer is like I said, you see things like FaZe and Optic and these other brands, like that's what I want to be in the 2K community, and maybe even more than just the 2K community, down the road. A brand that when you think of the game, you think of us. When you think of certain players, you think of us. A household name that not only has some of the best players in the world and prides herself in having some of the best talent in the world, but some of the best content creators in the world as well. Great players, great people, great personalities, diverse in what they can do, and just building the brand and the name as big as possible.
All right, last question. What would you tell a content creator like the three of us in here trying to get into eyeball? Like, what needs to be done to actually get there?
Yeah, the first thing I would tell people all the time is just be you. Be you and have fun with what you're doing. I have tons of guys all the time that DM me like, hey man, like I want to join eyeball. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, what do you bring to the table? And a lot of it is always like, listen, like I really want to do YouTube. I really want to do Twitch. I really want to grind content. And if I join eyeball, like I'll really start to grind. I don't want to see that. Yeah, I mean, I want to see you doing it before you get in. Make me be the one to DM you. I don't want you to be the one DM me to join. Make me go find you. And I think that will show in people's content. So like any advice I give to content creators or anyone trying to join or, have those type of goals, be consistent, be creative in your content. Don't follow a lane. Don't be afraid to go and try different things in your content, and just have fun and be consistent. And I think if you do that and you're a genuine person, you'll start to grow and your content will start to grow and the right people will see it and it'll get into the right eyes and you'll get to those places that you want to be.
All right. Before we let you go, is there anything you want to promote or say anything before you end up getting off the stream?
Nah, man, like this I came on here because I liked your guys' vibe. I like this. I watched your guys' podcast here. I like what you guys did. I really appreciated that you guys were so drawn into my tournament and gave it, so much time that you guys gave it to talk about it and give it a little spotlight. So, anyone watching or anyone that hears this, obviously you guys know me, follow me on Twitch. Check me out on my streams on Twitch. It's Toxsik, Toxsik. If you're ever on Twitter, drop me a follow on Twitter. It's the same there. And other than that, no, man, that's it.
All right, man, I really appreciate you coming on and talking to the three of us. And good luck tonight in that series at 7 o'clock. And hopefully we'll be talking again soon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. First of all, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing some of the more stuff you guys put out in the future. So, hopefully I'll be able to jump on another one and we'll do this again.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Toxsik.
All right, man.
All right, guys, that was Toxsik here with us.
All right, guys.
All right, Toxsik. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
All right, too.
I feel like we hit on a lot of things
that's crazy.
We had a lot of questions. So I feel like we got questions and answers to not only our questions, but for people in the community. And, Rob and Tay, both of you came to the table and put a lot on the table. Tay, I could see you did a lot of homework. You were ready to go. So that's exciting for me, knowing that I got two guys with me at all times. Always put in that work. And then we always got Jelly out there helping us with everything we need help with. And, you know, I can't thank him and I can't thank ENG enough. Tay, I can't thank you enough for wanting to come onto the show. And Rob, I mean, you're the one that pushes me to actually do this every single day. Again, Tox, we appreciate it. Hopefully this is just the beginning.
Don't cry, Rob.
No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm just saying, like, I really appreciate it, and I really hope this helps us. And you know,
For sure.
let's build on to something bigger. Tomorrow night we have the lab coming on from the Lab Rats at 8:00, and then we also have Big Brother Perp coming on at 8:30. So we have a big show tomorrow as well, back to back. You know, with Lab. Make sure you tune in with Lab because you never know what's gonna happen with him. He's a character. So, you know, until tomorrow night,
man.
Philly Frenzy out.